Good evening from Los Angeles, California. I'm Dr. Ryan Ava. Protests in Iran have been taking place across the country following the death of Mahsa Amini in police custody. Iran's so-called morality police had arrested her for not wearing her hijab appropriately. Demonstrators refused to back down despite a brutal response by the authorities. The fundamentalist Shiite government is calling on people to stop the protests, but so far the calls have had no effects.
Iran's hardline president is now lashing out at Joe Biden after the US president promised to, quote, free Iran. Ibrahim Raisi replied that his country was freed 43 years ago during the Islamic Revolution and that, quote, Iran will never be your milking cow. While state-sponsored rallies were held on Friday, marking the seizure of the US embassy in Tehran in 1979. Just a day ago, we saw videos of anti-government demonstrations in the capital and at least 3 other cities. Those were marking 40 days since the killing of Hadiz Najavi. A prominent protester shot to death in September. One of those gatherings turned violent. Our Jumana Karachi has been following the story from day one, and she's standing by for us in Istanbul. And Jumana, you know, these protests are now, I think, in their 7th week, even as the crackdown, as we've just said, there escalates. What are you hearing from your contacts on the ground?
Well, Issa, what I think really sums up the situation in Iran right now, about a week ago on Saturday, we heard from the head of the powerful and feared Revolutionary Guard Corps issuing a warning to protesters, telling them that Saturday would be their last day out on the streets. And the people's response to that ultimatum? More protests. We have seen protests across different parts of the country. We have seen some large protests and some of them turning really violent, Issa, as we saw earlier today in the southeastern part of the country, in the Sistan Baluchistan province that is home to the country's Baluch minority. In a number of cities there, violence erupted at these protests. According to Amnesty International, they say that the government forces opened fire on peaceful protesters, and they say that they were shooting at them from the rooftops of government buildings, and that they fear that at least 10 people may have been killed, including children. The government's version of events, they say that it was protesters who attacked these government buildings. They claim that protesters were carrying weapons. Now, we haven't seen anything that supports these claims by the government at this point, Issa, but as we have seen over the past 7 weeks now, the government has been using brutal force, beating and shooting protesters to try and crush this national uprising, and so far it doesn't seem to be working. And some really disturbing information we've gotten this week from a UN official saying that at least 14,000 people have been arrested in this crackdown, many of them facing the death penalty in a country where many would tell you, human rights organizations would tell you, there's no such thing as free trials. And that includes one very popular dissident rapper.
These
are the lyrics that could cost Toomaj Salehi his life. The Iranian rap artist was arrested last weekend, charged with crimes punishable by death, including cooperating with foreign governments, forming illegal groups to destabilize the country, and propagandist activity against the government. But his real crime? His music, calling on Iranians to rise up and remove their repressive regime. Toomaj has also proudly posted these videos recently, showing him out at the protest, leading the chants for change. Family members say he was arrested along with 2 friends in a violent raid on Sunday. His uncle tells CNN they have information he was tortured.
We still do not know anything about Toomaj's health or condition. The family tried hard to even hear his voice. No one has given us any information. We don't know all if Toomaj and his friends are alive or not. We want to know what happened to our boys and what torture has the Islamic government given them.
This short edited clip released on state media Wednesday claims to show Toomaj expressing remorse. Outraged Iranians say it's a statement made under duress. His uncle and others believe it's not even Toomaj. The underground rapper has been a rebel for years. fighting repression through his politically charged lyrics, speaking out against corruption, poverty, and impunity. He was briefly arrested last year, but this time is different. The regime struggling to contain the national uprising is unleashing all its brutal tactics. Thousands have been arrested, more than 1,000 of them indicted. Many protesters accused of waging war against God and corruption on earth, facing the death penalty in what human rights groups say are sham trials. Many fear the ruthless republic will hand Toomaj and others the harshest of sentences to make them an example to those who dare to dissent.
Toomaj's mother was a political prisoner. She has passed away a long time ago. If my sister was still alive, she would have become Toomaj's voice. The same as I am Toomaj's voice. The same as many who are on the streets are the voice of Toomaj.
A voice they've tried to silence, now louder and more powerful than ever.
کسی نمیتونه ما رو شکست بده. طول میکشه ولی این پایانشونه. من باشم تو باشی یا نه این پایانشونه. تموم شد. امروز یا به ما.
And Isa, Toomaj's family, of course, very concerned about his safety. His uncle asking us to send a message to the international community, urging them, he says, to do something to save Toomaj and the others.
Truly just heartbreaking, another heartbreaking story that you're bringing us, and it's just can't think of what this family, what the uncle and the rest of the family are going through, waiting, of course, Jumana, for word on how he's doing, any update really. Let me ask you though, Jumana, about, and if there's been any reaction on the politics to what we heard from President Biden on the campaign trail this week when he said, don't worry, we're going to free Iran, they're going to free themselves pretty soon. What has the reaction been on the ground to those words?
Well, the reaction that we have seen from the Iranian president, as you mentioned earlier, today marking the 1979 takeover of the U.S. embassy, that anniversary every year where you see the pro-government crowds out on the streets in Tehran, outside what used to be the U.S. embassy. We saw that again with the usual chants of death to Israel and death to America. And you had the Iranian president addressing those crowds, and he says that he was informed of the comments made by President Biden, to which he said, I was informed that the American president absent-mindedly said, we will soon free Iran. We've been freed for 43 years. And again, saying that they will not allow the U.S. and others to turn Iran into another Syria or a Libya, in his words. Again, Isa, dismissing all that we have been seeing on the streets, the anger of the people, the demands of their own population, as some sort of a foreign conspiracy and riots to try and destabilize the country by the U.S. and others, Isa.
Powerful and really important reporting there from Jumana Karachi and team in Istanbul. Thanks very much, Jumana.
To support my work, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Also, please don't forget to hit the bell icon so you wouldn't miss any of my new videos. Thanks for watching.